Welcome on into the Wolverine.com podcast. Clayton Sayfie here with Wright, former Michigan basketball player, our analyst here for the Wolverine and on three, breaking stuff down. He did a great film breakdown ahead of Michigan versus Colorado State in the NCAA tournament, so check that out on our YouTube channel there. Man, we got NCAA tournament bracket. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, some big picture stuff, how we think the Big Ten teams are going to do later on. We will start with Michigan, the 11 seed against Colorado State. Winner of that takes on number 3 seed Tennessee or number 14 seed Longwood, making their first NCAA tournament appearance. That's about all I know about Longwood, and we were talking about that before. But first of all, we were talking before we went on air here, and we were saying, man, our brackets are not going to be very good probably. Nobody ever has a good bracket. Yet we've wasted the last few months of our lives watching college basketball almost every night. This is what we do it for, is this week. It kind of pays off a little bit because now everybody's watching, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I guess, is this one of the better weeks for you of the year because there's so many games coming hot and heavy starting on Thursday with Michigan?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's been going on for about a week and a half now where you just got games all day, every day. And these highly intense games that have everything on the line it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because you see these seniors and these are their last times that they'll ever play in college sports, and it's just it's interesting. It's interesting. You see the raw emotion, you see the raw feel, and these coaches they could be coaching their last games at their respective schools, and that's the last time that group is going to be together. And they've been through a lot since all the way to last spring, right? This is like 10, 11 months of just work, and now they're being rewarded for it. Now they don't want that to end, and that's why you see so much emotion. That's why you see so much energy, so many tears after losses because they know that this is the last time that they're going to be with these guys with this exact unit. So this is one of my favorite times of the year because you just see everything is being let out on the court, and nothing is selfish, nothing is being held back.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I cannot wait. We get the first 4 games here tonight. We're recording this on Tuesday morning, so we get a couple games tonight, a couple games on Wednesday, but then it really starts, and Michigan's kicking that off 12:15 on CBS on Thursday afternoon. But every game is it's both the great thrill of victory and the agony of defeat for one side, or the other. So everything's on the line starting with these games, and that's why I think Michigan, a team that has gone 10 straight games, alternating wins and losses, you can't keep that going if you want to make a run in the NCAA tournament. So let's kind of shift focus to Colorado State, what we have seen out of them, what we've kind of gathered on them heading into this matchup. So I think a lot of people are talking about this as a good matchup for Michigan. They're actually favored as the 11 seed over a 6 seed. But when you get into the weeds a little bit with this thing, it's going to be really fascinating. So just a couple background things on their profile before I turn it over to you, Ant, because I know you did the video breakdown and wrote a little bit about this as well, what Colorado State is. But 20th best offense in the country on KenPom, 83rd best defense, so very similar to Michigan there in terms of having a good offense and struggling a little bit more on defense. They shoot really well from 2-point range, 56.3%, pretty good on threes, although they don't take a ton of threes. Defensively, they rank 210th against two-pointers, so I think that's going to be big for Michigan, who is a very good two-point shooting team that doesn't shoot a lot of threes. It's an undersized group, and that's the big storyline, why this is kind of an interesting matchup. So they start a 6'10 center in James Moores, but he only plays about 35% of their minutes, about 15 minutes a game. They moved David Roddy, who's the star, who I'm sure people have heard about by now, over to the 5 a lot of times. He's 6'6", 255 pounds, a thick guy who can score from outside, but really likes to post up as well. They've got 7 guys who have shot over 53s, so it's kind of that 5-out offense where you got to be ready for a guy to shoot threes at any moment, which I think is going to make it tough on Michigan. Let's kind of break this down, though, starting with, because to me, this is truly a game that is going to be different on each end of the floor. When Michigan has the ball, they have their distinct advantages. The game's going to go a certain way. When Colorado State has the ball, they have their advantages, and the game could go a different way on that end. And I guess it's whatever mismatch wins out more is going to determine the outcome of this game. But let's start with when Michigan is on offense playing against an undersized team against Colorado State. Makes me think that they're going to get, send a lot of double teams to Hunter Dickinson, probably Moussa Diabate when he gets the ball in the post. They're going to switch a lot of screens, try to make Michigan, dump it in and score over a smaller guy or get around their guy and, get leverage that way, I guess. What are you expecting when Michigan has the ball? You start a guy that's 6'11" and a guy that's 7'1", and you're going against guys that 6'10" at the tallest. This is the 300 and something tallest team in the country. So average height is 6'4". So that is going to be apparent, I think. It's basically going to look like Zach Edey against anybody else when Michigan has the ball because, Hunter Dickinson is going to be probably at times over 6 inches taller than the guy guarding him.
For sure. Colorado State has played against size all year long. So that's like something that like people got to kind of like understand as well. It's like, yeah, we're going to have a mismatch, but they've been learning how to, counter tall teams for months now. So it's not a situation of, they're just going to dump it down. It's just not going to be that simple, especially when you have someone like David Roddy. If he ends up on Hunter, Roddy's about 260, strong as a bull. Is Hunter? He's going to need to bury these guys deep. He can't really rely on his quickness as much this game. It's not like he has like a 7'2" gump on him, right? These are guys who can move a bit. So they love taking charges. They love playing very, 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 very tough. So they're going to have to find a way to just have prime execution, getting Hunter the ball at 3 feet and not 8 feet. I think that is going to be a huge, huge deal.
Definitely. That's something that the scout is kind of out on him, and I know it has been for 2 years, but like Indiana did a great job, and I know they have Trace Jackson Davis and better, bigs, probably more athletic, better defensive bigs than Colorado State, but pushing him out, as you said, is huge. And, when he has a guy quicker on him, like, yeah, he might be able to back him down and power his way. That's certainly, not saying he can't, but a guy that can move his feet, stay in front, that could potentially pose a problem. And then on the other end, I mean, the Colorado State offense, reading up on Nico Medved, their head coach, he is inspired by John Beilein's offense a little bit and some of that like 5-out type of stuff, swing Princeton type of thing. They don't turn the ball over. They don't get many offensive rebounds, but they shoot, really well from 2, pretty good from 3. Every guy can shoot, as I kind of mentioned, for the most part in their lineup. How do you see that going? Because Hunter's going to be on the perimeter at times. Moussa, who's done it at times this year, will also be out there quite a bit. And, at the same time, they like to go inside as well. So what do you expect when Colorado State has the ball?
Well, they're going to run the 5-out when Roddy is at the 5. And I kind of alluded to this in my article this morning is when they go to that lineup, Michigan has to abuse it on the other end, because that'll get them out of that lineup. Force them to play a true big. But if they're able to hold serve, then I call that like the death lineup. Because you have basically 5 guards out there. Michigan cannot be afraid to go with Caleb at the 4 when they go small. They can't be afraid to go Moussa at the 5 and have Hunter just come out, maybe sit more than usual, just to help with some of the matchups. Because I think Musa on David Roddy is a good look. I think Brandon Johns, people have their thoughts about him, but
I think
Brandon
D.
Johns is
Johns
a very good defender.
yeah, I think
It's a very good defender.
I can picture him D'ing up Roddy watching some of the clips of Roddy for sure.
Yeah, Brandon Johns is a very good defender. He's rated as one of, I think, the best post defender on the team. So when you have two versatile power forwards, one 6'10", 6'11", very good wingspan. The other is 6'8". Both guys who are big enough and quick enough to stay with him is going to be huge, because that's what it's going to come down to. Can you neutralize Roddy? If you neutralize Roddy, you are going to win this game. They go to a lot of depth too in the Mountain West. I don't think they're going to, if they do that against Michigan, I think that talent wise, Michigan has to take advantage of when they go to their very deep bench. Because I don't think their bench is anywhere near to where their starters are. I think they got away with that in the Mountain West. I don't think they are when they play Michigan and Michigan plays their 7 or 8 guys. I saw people say, yeah, T. Will is going to guard Roddy. You don't want that. You don't want that matchup. Roddy's like a legit like 260. You don't want that matchup. If you have T. Will on anybody, it's going to be John Tunja. But I mean, like it's you know they're going to run their offense. They're super crisp. That's why they don't turn the ball over, is because they execute on offense so well, so well. And Michigan just has to. They're not the best defensive team this year. We kind of understand that, but you got to neutralize Isaiah Stevens and David Roddy. And Eli Brooks is very capable of neutralizing Isaiah Stevens. But, that matchup with Roddy is going to be the X factor.
Yeah. And he's a guy who likes the left block. He likes to post up, but he can also get a ball screen out in space, which kind of would scare you if you have Musa out there and he's guarding and having to get over a ball screen. I can't remember the last time I've seen him do that. Maybe when guarding Liddell. And he did a decent job on Liddell at times, especially in that second game against them when he was matched up with him. So it's doable, and it's going to be interesting. Some more on Colorado State. They have 5 common games, against common opponents to Michigan. They lost twice to San Diego State. They lost twice to UNLV. They did beat San Diego State one time in the regular season, then lost to them in the Mountain West tournament. But losing twice to UNLV, I think that that gives you a little bit of reservation, I think, about this team, because that's not a great UNLV team. They're 6-3 though against teams that are in the NCAA tournament field. They got to win over Creighton. They got to win over Mississippi State, and so they're definitely tested. And the Mountain West was good this year. So as far as mid-majors go, as far as, a team like this coming out of that conference, pretty tested, pretty good. They did drop that game, like I said, their first game in the Mountain West tournament. So not a ton of momentum, but Michigan's coming off of, the least amount of momentum you could probably have after that collapse against Indiana. So it's something to watch as well. And it's a clean slate in the tournament. Hunter Dickinson was kind of talking about that the other day, how they're kind of approaching this as, putting stuff behind them. And certainly Michigan's been able to put losses behind them. Look at the win-loss thing. So I don't think that's going to be an issue in this game. Yeah, and then they got –
I will say this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I will say this. When it comes to the San Diego State UNLV stuff, I get it. They're 1-4, but at the same time, these are schools that have seen them for years now and are very, very familiar. That familiarity with Michigan may have not been there, but they're still going to be a very good team, and that's why it's harder to kind of go about the common opponent thing. Like we can, but we can't because we all know, it's like the way that Michigan can be ready for a Michigan State team, or be ready for an Ohio State team, or be ready for uh, any type of team, right? Because like Penn State, like they give teams a bunch of trouble, but they're not very good. But that
Mhm.
familiarity with them is the reason why they can go in there and win those games. So I do think that UNLV is not that good of a team, but the familiarity is there.
For sure. And the common opponent thing is one piece of the puzzle. The record against NCAA tournament teams is one piece of the puzzle. Michigan is 7-12 against NCAA tournament teams, and a lot of those were big wins down the stretch. But you could also say, well, this team has only won 7 out of their 19 against NCAA tournament teams. So what leads you to believe that they're going to win this game? And at the same time, some of those were against teams that are now, 4 seeds, 5 seeds, a little bit higher rated. But it's all just kind of looking at – I more so look at that and say, like, how many NCAA tournament teams have they beaten? Because what is their – what gear do they have that could, bring them to go on a run or win a game or two in the tournament? It certainly doesn't believe that. It doesn't lead me to believe that they can't beat Michigan just because they lost to UNLV and San Diego State, 4 out of 5 times or whatever. Let's talk about Tennessee a little bit, but before we do, just want to shout out our sponsors, Manscaped. March Madness is here, finally. Not everyone can have a perfect bracket, but you can have the perfect set of balls this tournament season with the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have launched their ultra-premium collection to give you the total championship hygiene routine. After sweating out the games, make sure you lather up head to toe with this all-in-one skin and hair kit to have your body and balls smelling Final Four fresh. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code 20GOBLUE for 20% off and free shipping. That's 20GOBLUE for 20% off and free shipping. This is a Cinderella story you're not going to want to miss. And I believe I got my package in the mail a couple days ago. Did you get your care package there from Manscaped? I can't hear you.
My bad.
No, you're good.
I do have an email saying that it's on the way.
Okay.
But eventually for sure.
So, yeah, you'll be able to check out the product. They keep sending us stuff. We love Manscaped. Promo code 20GOBLUE, manscaped.com. That gets you 20% off plus free shipping on your order. So go and do that. If you're going to get it, it is a great deal. Tennessee, they are, when you're an 11 seed, you can't really complain too much about who your 3 seed would be if you win a game because you're an 11 seed. You didn't do enough to put yourself in a spot to get great matchups in those first 2 games. And even a lot of teams that are high seeds, they don't have, they're not delighted with their matchups. These are all good teams in the tournament here. But Tennessee, I think, would be a tough matchup for Michigan. Really good on defense. They don't have this total elite offense that I think would burn Michigan, but they got athletes, and Michigan hasn't been good on defense anyway. So, teams have been able to burn Michigan no matter what in a lot of cases. Again, game by game, they could absolutely win this game. But your quick look at Tennessee, what you know about them, some of your thoughts, because it's funny, as soon as these games end, it's like, boom, on to, and I know Tennessee would have to win, but it's like it's so quickly the focus shifts to the next game. And I know I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but this is the situation Michigan is in. What are your thoughts on Tennessee?
I mean, they're a really good team. I mean, they were top 10 in defensive efficiency this year. In a high-scoring offense, they beat a very good Kentucky team who could have very well been a 1 seed. So, good team, good point guard play, decent shooting. Even though their offense can be an eyesore at times, they're still top 100 in offensive efficiency. So,
Yeah,
they should be all right.
Yeah, number 36 in offensive efficiency. They shoot the 3 really well, and they shoot a lot of threes. So kind of that style of play. They've only lost 1 game, between right now and January 29th, which is just crazy. So they've been super hot. That game was to Arkansas by 10 points. The trend that I looked at with them in their losses, their offense has just completely been shut down. So, again, but I don't know if Michigan has that defense to shut down Tennessee's offense. But at the same time, maybe they go cold or whatever, and you could have potentially pull one out there. And not ruling Michigan has a good enough offense to beat anybody. If they get enough from the defense, they hit enough shots, I think they have a chance. But don't love this matchup. Again, Tennessee, their fans were complaining that they weren't a 2 seed. They have a legit case at that, by the way. So probably underseeded there, which kind of scares you a little bit. But at the same time, you should be scared. Again, if you're an 11 seed going into a second round game, if you get there. So you would love to be in that spot, I would say, about Michigan. I mean, maybe you would hope Longwood wins if you win, but at the same time, you would love to be in that position.
I mean, honestly, if we're looking at all the 3 seeds and we're looking at the whole layout of the tournament, I tweeted this too, and I'm like, look, if you showed this to me last week, I would take it 9 times out of 10.
Sure.
Or 10 times out of 10. I will take that every time. Like, okay, you bless you. You get to play a non-high major.
Yes.
Right? A very, very good team. Like, don't get it twisted. Very good team. But you go with a non-high major, right? That's not Houston, right? And
True.
then you end up having to play a Tennessee team who doesn't really score a lot of points, who can really get you in a close game where if you're on and you're hitting shots, you can get an upset. And then you're in that 14-3 range where we've seen 14 seeds beat a 3 seed coming into these games. And with Rick Barnes, you never know. So, like, you could take that, and then they're like, who is their 2 seed? Is it Villanova? It's Villanova. I just checked. So that's so it's Villanova, and then worst case scenario, you play an Arizona team in the Elite Eight who you've already played. So I
tough matchup.
Hard match. Yes, I understand.
Yes,
hard matchup, tough matchup, but you're going to get a 1 seed that you already have some film on. Which True. Honestly, of all the ones, you couldn't ask for a better situation. Not gonna lie. Granted that we could be saying all this stuff about the route and the region and lose by 20 against Colorado State, but you could not ask for a better situation if you are a double-digit seed in Michigan's situation. I mean, look at the 11 seeds around the country. I mean, Alabama, you don't want to play a high-scoring team, even though Alabama's been kind of weird this year.
Right.
Virginia Tech's going to have to play Texas, then hopefully get through Purdue. You have Iowa State versus an LSU team that doesn't have a coach. That's actually I'm kind of jealous about that.
That
situation.
would be the one that I would probably swap with, but at the same time, no, and it's not even worth thinking about if you're Michigan. Yeah, like but you have a good draw.
Splitting hairs, like you have a really good draw. You have a really good draw. And everyone at this point is going to be good. No matter who you matched up with at that 6, no matter who your 3 is, no matter who that 14 is, that 14 just won a conference championship. And that 3 is going to be someone who is either ascending or they're descending from being a 1 or a 2 seed. So they're going to be very, very good.
100%. And the biggest reason why I think you should be pretty happy with this draw if you're Michigan is as soon as that buzzer sounded on Thursday, I was thinking, okay, depending on how this shakes out, Michigan potentially in the first 4. You got to buy to the round of 64. That's a win as it is. And then to get this draw, I think you feel pretty good about that. So let's just kind of look at the bracket real quick. I know you haven't filled one out yet, but my final 4 is Gonzaga taking on Arizona in the national title game, but Gonzaga, UCLA in a rematch. In the final 4, I feel like the East is going to be a chaos bracket there. Either Purdue or UCLA going to come out, even though Kentucky's dangerous and I think could win this whole thing. But I just got a feeling there. I got Iowa on the other side coming through. I'm just going to ride with Iowa, I think, in this tournament. I like their draw. And then Arizona winning the whole thing there. But my sleeper is New Mexico State, who I have winning their 5-12 game, which is against UConn, and then beating Arkansas in the round of 32. Teddy Allen, for those that remember him from Nebraska, is their guard there. And as you might imagine, he takes a million shots a game. He shoots 30.5% of their shots when he's on the floor, which is like one of the highest rates in the country. So they're probably going to, like in all reality, go ahead.
I'm envious of that.
Right. In all reality, he is probably going to shoot them out of the game like he did when he was at Nebraska. A lot of times they actually started winning when he left the team last year. But he could probably shoot them to a win potentially as well. And they defend a little bit. So I don't know. They're my sleeper as a 12. I got Michigan losing to Tennessee in my bracket, I guess. And any bracket thoughts? I guess also Big Ten teams that can make a run. I have Iowa going the furthest. I think Purdue's going to be dangerous. That's something we even talked about last week heading in. But now that we have their matchups, anybody else you feel good about from the Big Ten? I do have Illinois in the Sweet 16, and then losing
what?
to.
Why would you do that?
Because I have Illinois. I know. I mean, it would not be good for the troll game against Illinois fans, but I haven't beaten Houston. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what we should do? There should be, if someone hasn't done it yet, there should be an article that just labels who the oldest teams are in this tournament. I think that's going to matter. I think there are going to be some teams who have an average rotation of like 23 or 24 years old.
Illinois.
That matters a lot.
Illinois.
I think that matters a lot. Yeah, but it's Illinois. Like
I know.
It's Illinois. But like I think Vermont is, I think you have a good chance of seeing Vermont versus New Mexico State. That I see Vermont versus like you can get Vermont versus Memphis, because I think Memphis and Gonzaga sees some dudes who aren't afraid of them. They're not as good.
I was so close to picking Memphis over Gonzaga, but I couldn't do it.
Memphis,
but they could win that game.
Memphis defensively, like people pick on Penny for their own reasons, and he had that one press conference where he kind of went off. But they've been good ever since
that spot. Yeah, they've been good. They've lost like one or two games. They got a huge win over Houston. They were a team on the wrong side of the bubble at that point. I know it was late January, but now they're firmly in as a 9 seed. So yeah.
Ever since that one dude left, I'm not going to mention names, but ever since that one dude left the team, I think they've only lost twice. But it is a situation where like that Memphis Gonzaga game is going to be must see. That's going to be must see TV. I need Memphis to beat Boise State. Like
I was going to say, watch Boise will just beat them, and that could happen too. But man, Boise doesn't totally impress me.
Boise doesn't. I mean, like they're okay. Mountain West is like Mountain West reminds me of they like them and the American Athletic are like the same conference. If you think about it, like they both play football the same, they play basketball the same, just like these like got these like athletes that are like not super skilled, but they're like super like tough and mentally just rugged and just ready to go.
True.
So like SMU and Houston and Memphis, that's Boise State, that's San Diego State all day. That's Colorado State all day. Just tough teams, undersized, underrated year in and year out. Just like this Wyoming team tonight, like don't be shocked if Indiana loses that game, even though I'm rooting for Indiana for sure. Of all like the Big Ten teams, like I want them to do well, because I think they need one. I think they need a decent run, and hopefully Mike Woodson does well over there. But I'm not going to be shocked if there is like a 7, 8, or 9 seed in the Final Four this year. I'm not going to be shocked if there's like a 3, 4, or 5 along with them. Um, I don't think Gonzaga is going to make the Final Four, even though it's weird. It's so weird when it comes to these brackets. Like, I don't think that they're going to make the Final Four, but at the same time, they're my favorite to win the whole thing.
That's a legit thing.
It's
that makes sense.
Because I think they're legit the best team. I think they're the best team.
That's not even what it is. Yeah, they could lose a game, and then they're not like they don't get to prove they're the best team, even though they might.
That's all it takes.
It's crazy.
You see them struggle to St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, yeah.
It's like that's the whole familiarity thing because like Randy Bennett at St. Mary's.
True, they needed that win. They've been gunning for that win, but at the same time, Gonzaga couldn't score much at all in that game. And St. Mary's, I know they're a good defensive team, but they shut them down. That's what gives me a little bit of not hope because I don't really care and I don't like Memphis, but I guess you could put it like that. Hope that Memphis could win this game. If you're Memphis, you look at that and say we can shut them down. Whether or not it's going to happen in a one-game single elimination format is another thing, but they're going to have a chance. Yeah, I got Gonzaga going to the title, but I could see them losing to that Memphis team too, or somewhere else along the way. Do you agree with me that Iowa's probably going to go the furthest out of the Big Ten teams, or who do you have?
I saw Iowa's route.
Yeah, so they have Richmond as the 12. I like that matchup.
Richmond's they're old.
Yeah, they are old. They can shoot.
Richmond's old.
But then Providence would be your 4 seed or South Dakota State. I think
South Dakota State's going to win.
Yeah,
I think South Dakota State's going to win. And then, I can see South Dakota State playing against like Kansas or San Diego State in the Sweet 16.
You don't believe in Fran? He's got to make his first Sweet 16.
I'm a big Fran fan. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, Fran sucks." I'm like, "Look, bro, Fran. Fran. I remember when like he was at Siena.
He took him to 3 tournaments. Yeah,
liked him there. And then for him to do what he's doing at Iowa now, because like so many times like those hires don't work.
I know they took a shot on him. Yeah,
they took a huge shot, and it's paid off. It's paid off for him. I think Ohio State will be done in a game or two. Wisconsin, I can see them like they're in Milwaukee and they got Colgate. Colgate, they have the second highest three-point shooting percentage.
Yep, and they chuck a lot of them up.
Yep, and then you have San Diego, and then South Dakota State, I believe, is first in three-point percentage. Let's see who else is in there. Good for Rutgers for getting in the tournament. People are mad at that, like Michigan's in. They should be mad at Rutgers being in with that net and that SOS.
The thing that sucks about Rutgers and Indiana, and by the way, I don't think you would be, if you were at the game last Thursday with all those Indiana fans, I'm not so sure you would have been, saying that you hope they go on a run, just saying that. But the thing that sucks about them and Rutgers, they have to play tonight and tomorrow, respectively, in Dayton, and then I forget who, but one of them's in Portland, the other one's in San Diego. So that's a tough one, and that's why I have both of those teams, or the winner of those games, bowing out in the first round, because I just feel like it's tough with the travel, and they're not better than the teams they're playing anyway. So it's just a tough formula.
Yeah, that's tough. And Rutgers is going from Jersey to Dayton to San Diego. That's just
right.
I'm all getting jet lag, bro. Who else? Then where's Indiana, Wyoming, and they got St. Mary's in Portland. Ugh.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Those fans they'll travel there.
Yeah,
sure.
Rabid fans. But like St. Mary's for like, are they like the Bay Area?
Yeah, they're Northern California, so they have to travel. So it would not be
right there.
Yeah. But it's still a little bit of a at least drive, I think, or
a little bit of a flight.
Yeah. But that's as good as you can get if you're St. Mary's, because they've probably been in Greensboro half the time they're in the tournament, or like Kansas City or something. So
Right.
they love
Right.
this. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm a psycho, like with my mind, so I have to find out like where they're at.
I know it's in the Bay, or like, might be like wine country up there.
Yeah, like 9 hours driving, so they're definitely
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, so that's a flight. But it still feels like I don't know, everything on the West Coast. You just lump it all in together and feel like everything's right next to each other, but
Right.
it's not. Like people say that about recruits too. Like, oh, he's going to go to USC. He lives in Washington. It's like a 12-hour drive, but But I get there's culture and stuff. But
Right.
any other thoughts on the bracket, the Big Ten, Final Four, national champion? So Gonzaga's your pick, or
I mean, it's so wide open. I haven't even
yeah,
looked at like this is my first time that I've actually like looked at the tournament. It's gonna be a hot mess this year. That's all I know. It's gonna be a hot mess. But we
sounds
always like
fun,
a hot mess.
right?
Like
That's what I want.
last year you got Oregon State, probably one of the worst programs in the country, go to the Elite Eight, and then this year they have 3 wins. So that just shows you the fluke that was. I don't care
Yep.
if guys left. That was a complete fluke.
Their coach got like a 10-year extension.
Yes, Tinkle just said, "Oh, let me just
forgot it was
go
Tinkle.
to the tournament once. Oh, let's get some perfect matchups. Oh, extend me because this is going to be the norm."
Right.
That's how Georgetown got. They're like, "Ooh, he won the Big East tournament. What do I get? Oh, you get 21 straight losses
Right.
to end the year next season." It's so
That's
funny.
crazy.
You will never see that in the Big Ten. You will never see that. Ain't no way.
Yeah,
Ain't
the
no
regular
way.
season is valued more than any other conference, I think. So they take a look at the whole pie more than the Big East. It's always been the Big East tournament has been the biggest thing there. The Pac-12, it's like we beat up on each other, whatever, and we send 3 teams. If we overperform, then great, and that's what they did last year, certainly. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that formula is, the Big Ten likes to stick with its coaches, but I don't think they're just going to do that and extend a guy after one good run. Yeah. Anything else on the bracket? Going to be a great week.
The Big Ten. Nothing else, man. It's just know it is going to be it's going to be absolutely chaotic. And there are so many games. Like I don't see. Like I could see Baylor losing to North Carolina in the second round.
Yep.
Baylor's not. I'm surprised they were a 1 seed.
They're hurt, but they keep winning though, even though they have a couple guys banged up.
Yeah.
They're a mystery to me. I could see them getting in New Orleans, or I could see them losing that second game, like you said, to either North Carolina or Marquette. Man, Shaka, is he going to make a run? I feel like everyone's counting them out and just assuming.
Good for Shaka, man.
Yeah.
Good for Shaka.
That team was not expected to be anything coming into the year. And
shout out to Daryl Morcell for making the right decision for him, too.
True. He's on a tournament team, and Maryland is in shambles.
You got coaches, you got assistant coaches getting caught up with like escorts and stuff for like pay, and
they're thinking of bringing in Patino. Maybe, I don't know.
How would you even do that?
People are. I don't think they're thinking of it. Maybe they are. People are talking about how they should or maybe will. But
man,
it'd be funny.
I think they go after the Seton Hall coach.
Yeah, that's also probably the most common name that I've heard too.
Yeah, I think they go after the Seton Hall coach. So like Baylor started out the year really good, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and finished the year 11-6 after they went undefeated. So I don't know.
Injuries play into it, but I think Cryer is still hurt for them. Maybe that big guy maybe is out for the year as well.
Yeah, that Chachachu.
Right. I didn't want to try to say it.
Yeah, I'll try it. I'll try it. But like his name was Jonathan Chamwa Chachachua.
Yep.
Chachwa. Chachwa. Anyways, Flo Thamba. What a name.
That's hilarious. We need a song about that.
I know. Little remix
of Mo Bamba.
Yeah. Do they have LJ Cryer back? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think he's ruled out though. Also, Kyle Young for Ohio State is another injury. I was watching. It looks like they're hopeful he comes back, but I don't think there's any guarantee. So they could be out early, as you said.
Yeah, he had concussion stuff, and Zed Key as well.
Yeah, Zed Key probably not.
Yeah, he had the ankle, then came back versus Michigan and played like 5 minutes before he like sprained it again.
Yep. So that's something to consider, injuries, looking into that when you're picking your brackets. I'm sure most people have picked theirs by now.
Yeah. I got to really like sit down, and I always do like 3 brackets. I do one with my heart, I do one with my head, and I try to do one that's like mixed. Like that's what I do every time.
Yeah.
I always do 3 brackets, and that's it.
Yep, I do a few. I've only done one so far. One is the one with my head, looking into stuff, researching. That's why it'll be the worst one I've ever done. Oh, yeah,
for sure.
But
for sure.
All right, folks.
Norfolk State, Baylor. I got a dude who coaches on Norfolk State. I'm going to need them to win that game.
Okay. That would be incredible. 16 seed over 1.
That'll be awesome.
Well,
those are the best games. Those are the best ones.
They are.
Because I hate Virginia. I hate Virginia so much.
That was fun.
Can't stand it.
All right.
This should be a good tournament, though, bro. This should be a good tournament.
Absolutely.
I can't wait. And it's always better when your team is in it. So hopefully that Michigan can like win a game or 2 at least, and be able to make it more interesting and for the content to do a lot better too.
Yeah, for sure. And there's nothing like when your team wins and then you can watch more basketball for the next couple days knowing that your team's in, you care about who wins because of this matchup or that matchup. It makes it so much more fun. It's still going to be fun regardless, but yeah, hoping for the content for everybody out there that Michigan is able to, hey, get to their 5th straight Sweet 16. That would be awesome, or at least win a game, get to that Tennessee game, get some Michigan-Tennessee, kind of hate going maybe down there in Indy, which would be fun, going back to, 97, Peyton Manning.
Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning.
Yep.
They're still mad about it. They're still mad.
I ran into a Tennessee fan during football season that was saying that Tennessee's the exact same program as Michigan, and I was like, no, Michigan's been a little better here. And he was like getting mad about Peyton Manning not winning the Heisman. It's like, what are we doing here? I mean, that was 25 years ago, literally.
Dude, that's why Illinois fans are so mad at Michigan fans, because of 1989.
Yeah.
Like they're still like, I had no clue that they were still mad until
flying Illini
recent years.
Yeah,
man, the losing Illini is what they are.
Great way to end it. That's our show. We will have
jerseys though. Nice jerseys.
They do have nice jerseys.
Nice jerseys. Very nice jerseys.
We'll have full coverage, pregame, in-game, after the game at thewolverine.com. Heading down back to Indy as well. So we'll have stuff from open practice on Wednesday. Get to talk to Juwan Howard and the guys after that. So plenty coming at thewolverine.com. Join us for $1 for an entire year. Again, thanks to the sponsor Manscaped. 20GoBlue is the promo code there to get 20% off and free shipping. And enjoy the games, everybody.